How much does a 1-week holiday in Vanuatu cost? Did you know that Vanuatu has been called the best island in the South Pacific? I've heard this a few times, and also when I was doing some research for our holiday. But the crazy thing is, there are 83 islands that make up the country of Vanuatu. So Hamilton travels to Efate in Vanuatu. Our holiday to Vanuatu increases our travels to 37 countries around the world. And one of the things we were really interested to see is if Vanuatu is a cheap holiday destination. In this video, we will lay out all the costs of accommodation, travelling around, activities, food and drink, and share the total cost at the end of the video. All amounts are in Australian dollars. To start, we stayed at the Grand Hotel and Casino for 7 nights, and it was $315 per night, including breakfast, and we booked a more luxurious panoramic room that was supposed to look like this, but ended up looking like this. More on the Grand Hotel in another video. Travelling around is pretty easy as there are plenty of taxis and public buses, like these small vans, and you look out for a T or a B on the number plate to catch them. Hiring private tour companies are expensive. We hired one to pick us up from the airport and it cost $50, but a taxi to drop us back off at the airport cost only $25. In order to secure your travel and decrease costs, speak to taxi drivers on the street or out front of your hotel and barter your way to a good deal. A full day driving can cost between $150 and $170, and the number of passengers doesn't matter. Taking the bus can be as little as $5 per person, but you will have to wait for every stop and pay per person. And if you take the tour options, you will pay from $160 to $175 or even $199, and that's per person. On our first day touring, we caught a taxi and our driver Andrew took us to Raru Falls, where we paid entry fees of $38 for 2. Then we went to the Blue Lagoon and entry again was $38 for 2. We then visited the Reef Zoological to get up close with turtles, and yep, it was $38 for 2. And finally, 83 distilleries, and it was, yes, you guessed it, $38 for 2, just for tasting, not a tour of the brewery. And at the end of the day, we paid Andrew, our driver, $150. The next day, he drove us halfway around the island, past some great sights, to drop us at a farm to get a worker's boat across Havana Harbour to a lesser-known island called Mosso. More on that adventure in another video. We paid $25 each way on the boat, and then he drove us to the beach bar for us to have dinner and see the fire show before picking us up and driving us to our hotel after 8 p.m. Another $150 day trip plus the $50 boat transfer. We spent a day on Iroriki Island and met a crazy group of people from Melbourne, just in case they are watching/listening to this video. A day pass was $63 for 2, and you get a $25 credit to use anywhere on the island. This was our most expensive day, but we snorkeled and swam in the resort pool. Another full-day island visit was to Hideaway, and entry was $50 for 2, and lunch was only $22. I might add that we only bought one lunch per day and shared it, and that's because we had breakfast in our hotel each morning. Dinners were expensive. For example, at our hotel, it was $100 for these 2 meals. It was $25 for pizza at the beach bar and $100 for 2 at the Stone Grill. Local Tusker beer was between $5 and $7 each, with this bucket special on Iroriki Island costing $20. Cocktails were $25 in most places, and so it felt like you were just drinking back in Sydney. So the total cost of our visit, not including flights. Why? Because we don't know where you're coming from. And if you decide to fly, check out our video on our experience with Air Vanuatu. So the total cost, $4,500, including accommodation. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't overly expensive either. Thanks for watching and happy travels.